for right now, we have to talk about this. This is the first measurable snowstorm Charlotte has seen in years, and it raises a lot of questions on whether homeowners are responsible for removing the snow and ice from sidewalks near their properties. So we're going to talk about it. The answer actually depends on where you live. Snow removal laws vary across the country, with each state enforcing its own regulations and requirements. So what about the Carolinas? Queen City News Chief Legal Analyst Clive Rhodes is here. So Clive, the question for you is, who is responsible for clearing these sidewalks in the area?
Sidewalks, streets, they all have a different requirement. And so first of all, I'm looking at the City of Charlotte's emergency plan for ice and snow removal. It's 7 pages. And if you look at the back, it shows you exactly where they're supposed to cover and what they're covering. So you're talking about the red is the Department of Transportation, NC Department of Transportation, and the black is City of Charlotte. So that's the cities. In terms of the sidewalks, it will be jurisdiction to jurisdiction. And somewhere like Asheville, they have an ordinance that specifically tells homeowners that you have to have the ice and snow removed from your sidewalks before 10 a.m. or face a fine. Every town or city will be different, but it really is on the homeowner. But now if you're talking about each individual city, again, you'd have to look and check your local ordinance to see that.
All right, so I got to show this to the viewers here. Now, you said the red
Department of Transportation,
okay.
NC Department of Transportation. The black is the City of Charlotte. So you'll be able to look on their website. They have that on there, and it will show exactly who's responsible for removing snow and ice on your street. So if you find out that it's not removed, you go look at the map and say, hey, right. why have you guys not come and removed this?
All right, the question for you. So can a homeowner or landlord get sued if they don't shovel the sidewalk? And what if somebody gets injured?
Well, that is, again, it depends on the nature of the person's and who they're there.
Okay.
I mean, why they're there. It broken down into 3 categories quickly. If they're an invitee, if they're a licensee, or if they're a trespasser. If they're an invitee, think about this as a person like a delivery person, Uber Eats or someone like that. If they're a licensee, think of a social guest, someone over your house for a party. If they're a trespasser, think of somebody just walking down the street. The level of duty that you owe to that person depends on what level that they are. If they're a trespasser, our laws are normally you don't owe them any duty. They were trespassing, there's no duty of care. However, if they're an invitee or a lessee, it's a little bit different. Okay. That duty of care goes up. If a person gets hurt and you knew or should have known that there was a dangerous situation, specifically ice or snow, and you didn't do anything, didn't put sand, didn't put salt, then yes, you as a homeowner can and should be held liable because they were invited to your property.
And the only thing I say is, because we don't get snow here, who really has a shovel?
You better get one. If you don't have a shovel, that $100,000 lawsuit may be worse than a $10 shovel.
Very good point. Clive Rhodes, appreciate your insight as always. Well, we know it is a pinpoint weather alert day, right? And as we take a live look now outside from Boone to the Freedom Boat Club in Lake Norman. Look at this. Mostly snow right now, but that'll change here just in the next few hours. Let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Tara Lane, tracking those latest conditions in the Pinpoint Weather Center. Hey, Tara, you heard Clive say people better get a shovel, right?
I know, and I will say I still have my shovel back from a few years ago, and I spent just a little bit of time up in Ohio where I had to shovel plenty of snow. But yeah, definitely some of you are definitely breaking out the shovel, I would say, especially if you live up in the mountains and up through the foothills. We're expecting a little more of that snowy accumulation as opposed to more ice creeping in from the south, and that will continue to overspread more of the Charlotte metro in just a couple of hours here. And it's already been making that slow but sure northward trek, that line. You can see it between the blue and then the pink off to the south, and it's creeping in right along the Highway 74 corridor. So now we're starting to see more of that changeover from Chesterfield County through Lancaster County to freezing rain and that icy glaze developing on the elevated surfaces. Chester seeing some of that too, and it's creeping in toward Rock Hill. So we'll likely see more of that changeover happening, sweeping out what's been purely snow and or sleet for a lot of us to that changeover to more of that icy mix. And temperatures definitely cold enough to support the snow. We've got temps down into the upper 20s now, so well below freezing. The wind is calm and dew points are higher too, because earlier today those dew point numbers were still real dry. So a lot of that imagery that was showing up on radar, if you were checking your Pinpoint weather app, it actually wasn't making it to the ground, but now it is for a lot of us. 31 in Albemarle, 32 in Wadesboro, and we've got those lower 20s up there into the mountains where we still have a lot of moisture that has yet to spread in from the south and west with this area of low pressure pushing it right along and up in our direction. So you are are guaranteed to get more snow or ice as we take it out through midnight and even a little bit past midnight. But notice how those snow and ice chances drop off dramatically the closer we get to sunrise in the morning. So a lot of it's going to be tapering off even by the time a lot of you wake up early tomorrow. So that's why the winter storm warning will be expiring at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. How much snow could we see? Mountains and foothills, you're going to see some of those higher numbers as it stays snow with some sleet mixed in for a little bit longer. North and west of Charlotte, Statesville, Lincolnton, even over parts of Gaston County, Cleveland County, Morganton, Lenoir, and yes, up in the higher elevations, an additional 2 to even close to 4 inches of snow possible. We're not going to get that much more around Charlotte and especially to the east along Wadesboro and Rockingham. Unfortunately, in those areas where we're not seeing as much snow accumulation, we're going to get more of an ice impact where you see the orange over parts of Mecklenburg County and down to the south with some more of that ice accumulation expected here, as much as 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of ice. When we get that icy buildup on the elevated surfaces, tree limbs, power lines, that is going to possibly lead to more scattered power outages. Even a little more of that icy buildup expected along the I-85 corridor. So this is what to expect. Again, more snow, sleet, freezing rain overnight. Most of it's done by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then it's back to sunshine, but those icy areas will linger all throughout the weekend because, again, temperatures will stay cold below freezing at night, early in the morning, so that's going to lead to more black ice problems. So through 7 o'clock, you can see more of that pink spreading in from the south and west. Meantime, it stays mostly snow into the night across the northern tier of the state and up into the mountains. Sunshine returns for the weekend, but staying chilly, sunny but cold stretch again next week.